personal opinion. This was not written by a group. It was written by mainly two directors that looked at it, and I do believe, contrary to your beliefs, that it is reflective of the majority of our community and things. Moving next, we will have our students. It will be.
Good evening, board members. The resolution concerning DCSD's culture of individual excellence and inclusion is, for those who don't know, a resolution that, if resolved, would direct the superintendent to revise policy ADB, most commonly known as the educational equity policy. Where my issue lies is within the justification for this resolution. One statement says that the school district recognizes that any policy that wrongfully prioritizes group identity over individual beliefs, actions, or experiences will hinder a student's learning. Where in policy ADB does it do this? I am frankly sick and tired of this board making baseless claims in order to push their political agenda on kids who are just trying to learn an unbiased view of history, culture, religion, etc. The board's agenda really shines through in their seventh whereas statement, in which they say the US was founded on values of equality and opportunity. Are you serious? Did enslaved Africans have equal opportunity? Did Black Americans have equal opportunity during the Jim Crow era? I could go on and on about the ways this country has consistently held down those who are not Christian or white. Later down the page, it is stated that the US continues to shine as a beacon of unprecedented individual freedom, equality of opportunity, and prosperity. While I agree we do better than many other countries, the US still has laws that disproportionately affect those who are poor, Black, gay, trans, Hispanic, etc. The mere existence of these claims, of these ignorant claims, underlines the need for the educational equity policy. The last statement I will address is the second to last one, which states that legitimate questions have arisen regarding ADB's assumptions and implementations. What questions are deemed legitimate or illegitimate? Is it the ones agreeing with the agenda you want to push? What assumptions are in policy ADB? This board has continually made vague remarks when it comes to the educational equity policy, and that is not what this community needs right now. As a student, I am asking you to not pass this resolution. Should it be resolved, this resolution will hurt those in our community who are most vulnerable, and this board will be at fault. I've heard some other comments that have really inspired me tonight, and I think that a lot of people are not afraid to speak their minds on this, and the community is truly showing that this need for educational equity is prevalent. So please, as a board, I'm asking you to reconsider passing this resolution and to keep the educational equity policy to help students like myself stay safe within our schools. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gabby. I'm a junior in the district, and first I'd just like to talk about a couple of the whereas statements given as justifications for passing this resolution. So one of them states that the district mission recognizes policies that prioritize group identity over individual students will hurt all parties, but nowhere in the board's actual mission statement does it say that. The mission as written is to provide an educational foundation that allows each student to reach their individual potential. This resolution sets a precedent for the district incorrectly stating key practices, being used as a reason to imply that the equity policy is unnecessary or incorrect in its language as it stands right now. This misstatement of the mission places the base of this resolution on an incorrect foundation on top of being simply unclear and poorly worded. Additionally, this resolution implies that the equity policy could impact curriculum in the district. Having both read the policy and the bylaws several times, and as a student chairperson of the Equity Advisory Council, I know this to be false. Policy ADB clearly states that the council's only role is to advise the board. That is all the power the Equity Advisory Council has, and this resolution misinterprets and misstates that. Any advice given is up to the board on whether or not they will accept it, meaning any curriculum change resulting from the equity policy will be a board decision, not an Equity Advisory Council decision. Another whereas statement says that legitimate questions have arisen from policy ADB, but this resolution doesn't offer any of the questions it speaks of. Without direction on what potential issues this may cause, how is the superintendent supposed to adequately bring back information on how these issues can be solved? I strongly encourage each of you to consider, rather than affirming this resolution tonight, taking a second to actually work with the Equity Advisory Council members and with all other community members. Going to schools, speaking to teachers and students, and getting insight from those most impacted by the board's policies has been something the school board has consistently fallen short on, definitely in my experience as a student and in those of many others. The majority of board members have only been on this board for just under 2 months, so I advocate taking a second to actually speak with all involved parties in any policy before taking actions as strong as this. Students, teachers, and other people that are in schools every single day are who are going to be affected by this. I think parents need to be heard and guardians need to be heard, but I think students and teachers need to be a top priority in this and every single decision you make going forward. Thank you.
To begin, I would like to discuss paragraph 14 of this document. It states that the school district understands and acknowledges that parents or guardians occupy the primary role for establishing their students' core values and beliefs and are integral to every student's academic, social, and emotional growth and success. While I agree that it is the job of the parent or guardian to establish their child's core values and beliefs, the specification that they are integral to every student's academic growth and success concerns me. And while I agree that parents should be involved in their child's education, I understand that too much involvement can be a hindrance to the learning process. Some parents may seek to question or criticize the curriculum that their child is being taught, which, while helpful in moderation, can be intrusive upon the teacher's ability to perform their job. These teachers have degrees in education, have participated in continuous professional development, and are experts in their fields. It's for this reason that I believe that objecting to their style of teaching can be rather frustrating and distracting. Challenging their curriculum is akin to doubting the recommendation of a doctor, and while it can be well-meaning, it is often misinformed and counterproductive. I also worry that many parents are fearful of topics surrounding race and inclusion, and that they would seek to eliminate them from the curriculum. This culture of individual excellence and inclusion policy in paragraph 8 states that the horrors of race-based slavery and segregation will continue to be part of every child's education in Douglas County School District, as it is part of our objective history and is therefore vital to our understanding of our country. Parental involvement in education is welcome, but I worry that following a path of parental control of education could be destructive for the most important topics in our history and literature classes. In addition to paragraph 14, I would like to address the fact that this document is devoid of the word equity, except in the case of referencing the ADB Educational Equity Policy. As defined in this policy, equity refers to providing all individuals and groups of individuals with fairness and respect in their opportunities to participate in and benefit from the district's programs, and to ensure that every stakeholder has the opportunity to reach their potential. Educational equity should be the single most important element of any inclusion policy and the foremost principle of any school district. For it to be omitted from this inclusion policy is extremely worrying. The DCSD K-12 website states that the Board of Education works for the students, parents, and patrons of the district. It is impossible to work for students and parents without guaranteeing educational equity. So I urge you to define it as a core commitment of the district and to continue to explore ways to enhance educational equity and progress throughout our district. Thank you.
He, him, and I'm 14 years old. I want the Douglas County equity policy to stay in place as it is. We need this for kids in not just my school, but other schools who are underrepresented. If this policy is not in the schools, kids will not be seen, heard, and recognized as they should be. This is for me, my classmates, and even my teachers. Every kid needs the chance to be heard and seen, and the equity policy will give that to every kid in Douglas County. Equity is not equality. There's a big difference. Equality is giving everyone the same thing, whether or not it benefits each person. Equity is giving the person something that they need, even though it may be different than what I need. For example, if I was trying to look over a fence but couldn't see over it, I would need something to stand on. If my little brother, who is shorter than me, also has the same problem, then he needs something to stand on. If we're given the same size box, that is equality. It might benefit me, but it won't help my brother, because he still won't be able to see, even though he's on the same box as me. Equity would be giving me a box that is high enough to where I can see over, and a taller box so that my brother can also see over. With the equity policy implemented into our schools here in Douglas County, kids from underrepresented communities will feel recognized and heard. The equity policy, quote, commits to establish an inclusive culture to ensure all students, staff, and community members feel safe and valued by increasing and embedding authentic and relevant learning opportunities and experiences involving inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, end quote. Why wouldn't you want this for kids? Thank you.
Hello, board. I'm James Bucella, a freshman student at Thunder Ridge High School, and I'm here to defend the current equity policy. It is my view that the current board majority is revising and changing the current equity policy, or policy ADB, for the sake of fulfilling a political agenda that would satisfy the conservative population because of false and fearful rhetoric in this county. The policy now states that the Douglas County School District Board of Education commits to establish an inclusive culture to ensure all students, staff, and community members feel safe and valued by increasing and embedding authentic and relevant learning opportunities and experiences involving inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. Those words at the end encompass so many students within our district that ensure they all feel safe and supported within it that it seems wrong to even consider changing policy ADB. Having an equitable environment creates a more open-minded, welcoming, and accessible society to everyone, and nothing in the policy harms students, but keeps all of us safe from discriminatory practices. And President Peterson, you said that this policy was confusing as reported by Fox News, but as I see it, it's pretty straightforward in its role in this county, and so did the other speakers before me. Next, policy ADB hasn't changed the curriculum and is still in line with the Colorado academic standards, which after reading it, doesn't mention critical race theory at all, which has become a fear-mongering tool used by many in this county, even a donor and endorser of the new directors, the 1776 Political Action Committee. As a concluding statement, let me be clear, there's no organized curriculum for CRT in this county, so stop using it as a tool for your political agenda, keep policy ADB as is, and protect all kids you say you put first. Thank you.
I'm Aslan Hancock. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I've been in the DCSD school system since I've been in pre-K. Today, I'm here speaking on behalf of the Chaparral Equality Contribution, and this is a club I founded at Chaparral High School, and we focus on equity and equality for all. We currently have a total count of 31 members. Every day, someone in our district is put down for uncontrollable situations. Girls in schools are often told they are not smart, strong, or good enough for what boys can do and learn. Sped kids are put down for not fitting in and aren't considered normal. Racial slurs are thrown around in hallways like they are nothing, and the way this affects people goes to great lengths. The equity policy is our hope for accountability and currently is being considered of being removed. Equity is not an evil word, so let's not treat it like it is. Equity is humanism. More than 8 in 10 students who stand with the LGBTQ experience harassment and assault in their schools every year. 54% of sexual violence reports in the United States are from high schoolers aged 13 to 18. Board, what actions are you taking to protect the well-being of my peers and friends? It appears you are working to please parents' biased needs as opposed to what is best for us students. So little come to these meetings or even speak up due to parent aggression. It creates a scary and uncomfortable environment. Parents attacking children and threatening them for their beliefs does not put them in a comfortable place to speak up. So why should our parents and other adults have to speak for what's best for us when they can hardly stand to listen? Why are these adults having a stand against these policies in the first place? If children are your best concern, then why don't you talk to them personally and ensure they are heard? No child should have to be assaulted simply because a parent decided that education is harmful. Today, we ask to stand together. We ask for solutions to lower these numbers and help us feel safe and comfortable walking in the hallways of our school. We ask for the ability to look at an individual and help them meet their needs. Recognizing someone needs help is what we need to do as a district. Thank you.
Board of Education members, my name is Max. I'm a student in Douglas County and I'm 12 years old. The systemic racism happening in our society is terrible, and kids need to learn the real history of what Black, Indigenous, people of color have experienced, as well as the experiences of the LGBTQ plus community. Kids need to learn that equality is not always good, and it is very harmful sometimes. Everyone is different in many ways, and we want to support that, not be against it. Equity is not treating people the same, but providing people what they need to thrive. Kids cannot be treated the same because we are not the same. If I had the same treatment as the kids in the class have, I would not be doing as good in class because my needs wouldn't be met. Our society needs to be an equitable society so everybody has their needs met. The equity policy needs to stay as it is because it makes kids feel safe in their society and help stop bullying. In this society, we shouldn't be afraid of using words like racism, privilege, diversity, inclusion, and equity. Members of the board, please do what is best for us as our students, not what makes the adults most comfortable. Thanks.
How are we all doing tonight? So my name is Trey Thomason. I am also a part of the Chaparral Equality Contribution Club at Chaparral. I'm a sophomore, and I know this looks bad. I ain't got no notes with me. I don't want to take any much of your time. I just want to give you what I've been thinking. As a student of color at Chaparral High School, the things that I've, heard and seen haven't really been school-like, as you can say. I mean, I go to school, obviously, to learn, to connect with people, and to help them no matter what. But if we're a school and we're supposed to, be there for each other, why is it every single day kids are eating lunch in the bathroom because they don't want to be tormented about their race, who they are, or what they believe in? Kids are literally, leaving schools just so they don't have to see that. It's a lot of bad things going on, racism-wise, belief-wise, and just what people have to say. And everyone has their own opinion. And considering that they don't want to share their opinion because they're afraid about what some other kid's going to say about them really hurts. And the main thing I wanted to talk about was how racism is affecting not just Chaparral High School, but Douglas County as a whole. I've talked to many kids around the district, and I've talked to all of them saying, they've told me stories about how they haven't been wanting to come to school because of it, of how they've been afraid to help other people because they, are afraid what other people think of them. And I just think that we need to educate more students, having these type of clubs, learning, what racial slurs mean, because we're kind of out of hand with it. And I just encourage everyone here to, bring someone closer, help them, and reassure them that they are who they are and they can't change that, and that they should love themselves no matter what anybody says about them. Thank you.
All right. Hello, my name is Connor Tarber, and I'm a member of the Student Advisory Group. Directors, student voices ranging from elementary to high schools are constantly rising in our district. More students are voicing their opinions on all sides on some of the ways that affect our community and may want to communicate with their local leaders about these changes. We can make Douglas County a better place to live in. I've come to find out that this is not the case I see in our schools. Although organizations like the Student Advisory Group and Douglas County Youth Leadership provide this outlet for a student voice, it does not cover the 65,000 students in our district. Although many students want to voice their opinion, they found it hard because they are nervous, be publicly shamed by their actions, or not be liked by their peers. Students should have more access to showing a perspective to the people that serve us. Everyone should be able to voice their opinion of any change. It is painful to see that students are not able to say what they want by being judged by the community. There is also this belief that students are not voicing their opinion because they believe that local officials will not listen to them and move on with their own beliefs. I do not want to see someone being engaged in a thoughtful conversation with their leaders, and it would not mean anything. As a community, we have to change that. I have seen 2 directors point out these incidences within meetings. Although students cannot vote in elections, we still have a say in what goes on in our schools because the board serves students. I do not want to let this bridge of communication collapse. As a student and member of the community, I ask the board to listen to the students, allow different perspectives into your minds, and engage with our youth so that you can change our future. Thank you.
Okay. My comment, and I appreciate you reading the letter in for transparency, is like many of the speakers tonight, it did not address this resolution. It directs it says, as you consider the resolution, it goes into state, as leaders